key thing I want you to know is 1, define what you want. 2, find a community of people that does that. And 3, hang on for the damn ride, baby. Because we don't know what it's going to look like. I can't tell you, but I can tell you based on probability, if you do the first 2, you define what you actually want, which most people have no idea. And then you find a community of people that are doing what you're doing. You'll find it much easier to go make that happen.
Welcome to the Contrarian Capitalist Podcast, the ultimate destination for accredited investors and entrepreneurs seeking alternative wealth-building strategies. Discover how to fast-track your journey to wealth and time freedom by thinking outside the box. If you're ready to join the ranks of the Contrarian Capitalists and learn the most effective ways to reach your financial goals faster, you're in the right place. Let's get started with today's episode of the Contrarian Capitalist Podcast.
Thank you once again for listening to another episode of the Contrarian Capitalist. I'm your host and your favorite silverback, Sylvania Harrod. And on today's episode, I'm going to tell you something that seems like it's just an old saying in the personal development community. It's used a lot, but I've realized how important this is, which is your tribe directly influences your vibe. Or in other ways, your vibe attracts your tribe. However you want to look at it, y'all. So I was in a meeting with an individual who they had gone through, they were so non-linear in ways of how they did things. Like their path was not direct. And it was through certain challenges in life that it helped shape and develop who that person was. So great guy, having great conversation. And he was an individual who grew up in remote Idaho and went on mission, did other things, came back and went to historically black college and was one of 4 Caucasians at that entire historically black college. But it was through the diversity of information in life in those key developing years that it afforded him the opportunity to do the amazing and incredible things he's doing today. And it all started because of the vibe he carries. He's such a jovial, learning, curious individual. And through those different moments, it's created such immense wealth in relationships, in his health, and definitely in the bottom line, which is the wealth category. And when I sit around and I think about it, throughout the course of the week, I speak about 20, 30 individuals a week, me and my team, right? And you start recognizing patterns. You start seeing things as you're having more conversations. Because for that individual, they're seeing what's in their world. But think of me as like their world is their planet, right? So you have all these different people that are different planets. Well, I get to see like galaxies because I'm seeing multiple planets in multiple different places with multiple different elements that's crafting and creating their life. That's the fun part, is that from there, I get to sit at 10,000 feet, seeing kind of like belief structures, seeing language, seeing actions that they take. And I can tell you with great levels of probability of who's going to grow and accomplish their dreams and who is not. And the biggest thing that matters is you have to be in a tribe of people that are taking action, because the language they use is fundamentally different. And you'll hear me referring to it as playing offense or playing defense. People that are playing defense are playing not to lose. They're going to be seriously risk adverse in multiple ways. I am more of a risk adverse person, but I have a higher risk tolerance than most, if that makes sense. But these people don't want to lose anything. And so they're at a phase where they don't want to lose. And they don't want to lose at all, right? So they are struggling. They have other things going on, and they may make a certain pile of cash, but then they don't ever want to lose that. So they shift to more of like conservation mode, where they're like, I did enough risk to get me here, but I'm comfortable, and it's really complacency that hits them. And that's fine. That's their choice. Everybody has their own level of complacency with their own number. So they sit in that bucket over here. The bucket over here enjoys the journey, enjoys the thrill. They're like, if I'm not breaking something, I'm not pushing stuff hard enough. If I'm not falling on my face at different times, I'm not learning anything new. And for them, that's personally my tribe. Hey, I recognize that like there's things I need to learn and go through. In baseball, if I swing and miss, it's fine. All I got to do is hit the ball 3 times out of 10, I'm going to Hall of Fame. Period. End of story. Those type of people are the type of individuals that force you to stretch and grow. Because the other thing that you're finding is that in certain wealth circles, it's all about access. You can have all the information in the world, but if you don't have access, it's irrelevant. That's why I'm building the troop, right? There's going to be a community that's going to be structured there where you have the opportunity to go ahead and get access to certain deals you're never going to find. That's my gift to those who are on this journey with me, because high tide raises all ships, baby. I ain't trying to have you swallowing in the deep end and just like there. I want you to go ahead and go and discover your own islands, the things you want to do. Just give you the right tools. That's what I care about. That's what I'm looking to do. And that's why your tribe is so important. If you audit yourself and you audit the information you're consuming, who you're spending time around, I fundamentally agree that the statement of if you hang around four guys that are making 10 mil plus a year, you'll be the 5th. Because you're thinking about things differently. You start getting it from a different lens. And you see, like, it's kind of like working in the business, working on the business. You see things differently because you create a different emotional response and relationship there. Ask any parent. They'll tell you. If you have more than one kid, you're going to realize that the second kid you're going to treat differently than the first kid. Because the first time you were kind of figuring out. But the second kid, you're like, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. You get to third, fourth kid, you're like, whatever, that kid's going to be fine. Because you try to not control things as much. You relax. Or some people are they're just neurotic by nature. They're just going to try, but that's not me. I try not to control things. I control what I can control. Because what you realize is that by saying no to all the things you can't control, you get to say yes to the things you can control, which means you start accelerating in production. Because you realize there's so many decisions that you're going to hit decision fatigue at some moment in time if you don't have the proper belief structures and language that's there. So that's why I look at controlling what I can control. If I cannot control it, immediately off the brain. Because I need to make sure this brain is operating at a space that it can drive as hard and fast as it wants to, if that makes sense. So your tribe is going to matter. It's no different than anything else. If you want to get fit, go hang around 4 other fit people. You're going to eat food differently. You're going to move differently. Everything's going to change. It's just normal. You hang around me, you realize we're a sports family. So if you're not into sports and you're not into going and doing those things, you hang around me long enough, I'm going to have you swearing and going and talking about sports, because that's what has meaning to me. But I want you to know that you get to pick based upon your goals and desires you want. If you want my little hack, I'll use this in the fitness area. If you really want to get fit and you have a desire to do an activity, figure out the type of body type you want. Right? So if you, like, for some people, they like the slender, lean look. Well, it'd be very simple for you. Go join a running club. Go do those type of activities. Go join a running club that you have to show up at least twice a week. And I guarantee in a year's time, your level of fitness will be completely different than what it is today. Body type, I don't know. But fitness, you'll definitely be much more fit. Because then you have accountability. And here's the other thing. The more you pay, the more likely you are to stick to it. Because you can use the brain's advantage of knowing that we relate dollars to perceived value. So, and naturally, our brain does not want to lose money. So it's the same reason why gamblers create an addiction habit loop where it's like, okay, I'm almost back. Damn it. I'm almost back. Damn it. If you create the proper habit loop, just use your brain to your advantage. So when you join that running club and you actually conversate with people and they actually get used to you being there, you're naturally not going to want to let them down. So on days you're super heavily busy, on more days than not, you're going to communicate with them and you're going to show up. On days where you're not feeling it, you're going to show up because you're not going to want to let your other tribe members down. If you do any type of competitions or anything, you're really not going to want to let them down. So then you're going to force yourself to eat certain things so you can apply to the community better and you can better support the community. And guess what happens? You just tricked yourself into exercising and eating properly because now you don't want to disappoint those other people. Little hack for you. We can work on other details, but if you just really want to get started, that's what you do. You pay money, and then what you do is you show up and be accountable. And the more and more and more you do that, the better the results you'll have in life is. It's a little thing, free for the cost of admission. Try it. Try it for 6 months, and then come back to me and say you were a damn liar. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I did. That's fine. It's the same thing that work does for you. They know carrot, stick, carrot, stick. You don't you want to chase this carrot, which you think is compensation. And if I don't want to be in trouble, so as you're doing it, same process. Now you get to be in the driver's seat and create your carrots and sticks, and you'll be amazed at the results you end up delivering. So that's a little juice, but to land the plane for today, the key thing I want you to know is 1, define what you want. 2, find a community of people that does that. And 3, hang on for the damn ride, baby. Because we don't know what it's going to look like. I can't tell you, but I can tell you based on probability, if you do the first 2, you define what you actually want, which most people have no idea. And then you find a community of people that are doing what you're doing. You'll find it much easier to go make that happen. So with that being said, guys, I love feedback. I love information. I love people asking for things, because this episode was completely recorded on people asking me about Tribe and things I see and things I notice. So if you want more of this information, please, you can DM me. You can comment if you see this video on one of the platforms. I read them all, even the trolls. I just troll harder. And let's keep having fun. So stay hungry, stay humble, and stay grateful, my friends. Cheers.